What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about where the podcast has been the past 2 months. Then I'm going to go into PGA Tour golf stuff and how it's back in full force. Then I'm going to go into the PPP Tour stuff and how we have the PPP Open, second annual PPP Open coming up here this Sunday. It's going to be a good episode. Strap in and let's get into it.
This is the Langston Golf Podcast. Grow the game and always bring your sticks.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Langston Golf Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Andrew Langston. Today we're just going to talk about kind of another catch-up podcast. I feel like I did this not too long ago. I need to stay more consistent on the podcast side, especially with how easy it is to make these. Obviously, it hasn't been so easy to get a guest with everything going on, but now it's going to get a little bit easier, and we'll start to get guests regularly, and we'll get into that later on when the time comes. But yeah, today, just going to kind of talk about where the podcast has been. Haven't uploaded a podcast in coming up on 2 months. I think on the 8th, it'll be 2 months, which is not good. But like I said, I'm going to get back on it. Obviously, the videos have become way more consistent, so the podcast will follow as well. Excited for that. I'll be going to the beach. We're going to Hilton Head here in the next few weeks. But after that, it's full steam ahead. Podcast, YouTube videos, consistency. That's my goal. I know in my first YouTube video and my first podcast, I talked about how I've always kind of dropped the ball and stuff, but on consistency. But this time, not even this time, because I know it'll probably happen sooner or later again. But I mean, in the sense of, it's hard to stay on top of stuff, especially with life going on and crazy things happening, and stuff happens. But that's no excuse. So still been pretty consistent overall, staying with this because I love doing it. Even if that means I can't do it as often as I would want to, at least yet. But hopefully here in the next few months, it'll get super consistent and we can start pushing out some really good content to you guys. But yeah, that's kind of where the podcast has been overall. Like I said, you probably won't get another podcast episode for the next few weeks. I'd say give it about 3 weeks at the end of this coming month. I'd say give it about mid-August is when I'll go super hard on some content and podcast and keep the YouTube videos consistent. I've tried to kind of get ahead of that and get YouTube videos out being more consistent, one a week at least. My goal would be 2 a week, but 1 a week is just fine for right now in my schedule. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been at content-wise. And then let's get into some PGA Tour stuff. So, the WGC just finished up today, actually. I'm recording this Sunday night. So, Koepka loses it for himself, basically. Loses it himself on, I think it was either 17 or 18. I think he's on 18. And it was a tee shot, I'm pretty sure. And he went into water. He took an aggressive line on the left side. He should have hit a fade. I don't know if he didn't mean to hit it where he wanted. Obviously, you don't want to hit in the water, but I'm saying the type of ball. I think he hit more of a draw when he should have hit a fade to be safer. I think he was either one back or tied with JT going into 18, I think. So yeah, and I think JT was in the last group. I can't remember. And it just happened. But anyways, he basically loses himself hitting that shot into the water. He had such a great day that first day on Thursday, and then I believe it was the second day, he kind of lost it. He made that double bogey, and then the next day, obviously, he's rebounded since then. But in my opinion, this is the Brooks Koepka we all know, because guess what? Next week is a major championship, and that's exactly where he wants to be, honestly. I think he had a quote after the tournament. He's like, this is exactly where he wants his game to be at the peak right now, getting in to these last tournaments and the last end of the year tournaments with this new schedule, because that's where he performs, is these huge stages. So hopefully, I'm a big fan of him personally. I'm a huge fan of JT, and so glad he won, because he's back to world number one, which is huge. John Rahm only had it for a few weeks or a week or something like that. But that's kind of how it goes when there's that many great golfers that high up. Just goes to show how good golf is right now. So JT won and became that world number one. And like I said, next week we got the PGA Championship coming up. Same weekend as the PPP Open, our second annual PPP Open. We'll get into that a little bit later, and those solid teams there. I'll leave it at that for now. But like I said, the PGA Championship's coming up. Super excited for that, man. Like, first major in a while, and it's gonna be a good one. I mean, you know why? I'll tell you why. Tiger Woods. He's back. The man in red and black. He's back. I saw a video today. He was striping it down a fairway. I forgot the golf course. I think it's in San Francisco. I forgot where they're playing. I'll look it up 1 second. Harding Park. Why can I not think of that? Anyways, so yeah, Tiger's back. Harding Park coming up at the PGA Championship. He's already there practicing it out, getting that back ready. He looked fine last time we saw him. I mean, yeah, he didn't have the greatest days, but he didn't look in pain, which is kind of what you want to see from Tiger at this point, with everything that he's had going on in the back and just swing and body and everything like that. So that's what I'm excited for. Is Tiger coming back. You have Koepka coming back to three-peat a championship, and he's also the defending champion, which is crazy. And he's, like I said, right where he wants to be in his game right now. I think he was hitting so many greens and regulations. It was insane. The only thing he couldn't do was he was making pars, right? But he wasn't making birdies. That's how he needed to win, obviously. But his putts, they were so close. About 90% of the time, they were just a hair off. So he's putting well, in my opinion, even though he wasn't making them. But it looked good, I guess. He had the line just a hair off. But yeah, his putting just almost there, but wasn't. But yeah, that's kind of where the PGA Tour stuff is at right now. It's really exciting to watch some golf right now because everybody's hitting it so well. It's such a different schedule. So that I think that kind of makes it a little bit more exciting. It kind of changes the norm of the old golf schedule. So I think that's helping bring in some newer fans maybe who are watching it. I know you don't have to be a fan of the game of golf just because you watch it, or you don't have to watch it if you want to play the game and all that. But I don't know why, but I just think it kind of makes it more exciting with this new schedule because of the COVID stuff. So I think it's kind of working out in a benefit to a lot of the guys because they're just hitting it one after another. Because before you know it, like this PGA Championship was here before we knew it, and then all the other majors will be here before you know it. The Masters will be here before you know it. And then turn around in 2021. You'll go right back to the Players, and then you'll go right back to the Masters in Augusta. It's going to be a quick turnaround the year after. So I think it'll change a lot of people's games and their routines and how they stretch out their years and the tournaments they play in. So I think it's super exciting, and I like the way it's turning out so far. And then I wrote this down. I couldn't really work it into my whole spiel about the PGA Tour stuff, but Bryson is definitely worried about some ants. If y'all haven't seen that, go look it up on Twitter or wherever, YouTube. And Bryson, I don't care what this is my hot take on Bryson. All right, so no matter what anybody says right now, even if you don't like him, which I'm not a huge fan of him, I'm sorry, I forgot what the hats are called, but whatever hat he's wearing, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I know it's a golf thing. I know it's I know there's people who love it. I know there's people who like it, whatever. To me, my opinion, no. No to the hat, Bryson. I'm sorry. You look like a huge, huge cab driver. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. So, hot take on Bryson. Sorry. That wasn't the hot take. This is the hot take. Matt, even if you hate him, even if you love him, he is fantastic and electric, as part of my take would say, electric for golf. He's electric. I mean, you want to watch him, even if he's playing bad, because if he's playing bad, he's completely flustered. He's talking to the officials, trying to get an ant ruling on depending on if an ant's coming out of a hole or not, and because he's swinging. I don't even know what his club head speed is. Probably like 190 at this point. He's just, that's not realistic, by the way, if you don't know about club head speed. I don't know. That's just my hot take. Even if you hate him, which I don't like him that much. I don't hate him. I just don't like him that much. He's electric for golf. He's trending on Twitter. All these memes of him. It's good for golf, honestly. It's kind of like the conversation me and Brandon Forrest had in a podcast or two ago about Patrick Reed and if he was good or bad for golf, because he gets the eyes on the game, which this one isn't as bad, I would say. I definitely like Bryson better than Patrick Reed. So, that's my hot take on Bryson. Just wanted to throw that in there because he's everywhere in the media for golf, so had to do it. But yeah, so now we will just kind of go into the PPP Tour stuff. So the second annual PPP Open is coming the same week as this PGA Championship. I know it's weird scheduling, but it's when everybody could do it, and it is on a Sunday. Of course, we did it the Sunday of the PGA Championship, but I'm going to have that live stream on my phone. I don't care how much of a distraction it is. It'll give me the power to win this trophy, win my first major in the PPP Tour. Closest I've gotten is probably third or fourth, I think, last Open, I think me and Liam did okay in the Classic, but I think we did like fourth or fifth. I can't remember. We didn't keep in the cards. We're going to start doing that after this one. We're going to keep all the cards, post them, and I think we'll assign like a point system to everybody and where they place, so that way we can kind of keep better track of that stuff. At least that's going to be my opinion about it when we need to kind of match everybody up. I think that's what we should start doing, is a point system or something like that. I don't know how it can all work. I'll have to talk to the other guys on the committee and we'll figure it out. The PPP Open is coming up. Very, very excited. It's at River Pines in Johns Creek. Never played it. All the guys are saying it's a nice course. Talked to one of my buddies I play Xbox with who plays a lot of golf. Said it's not that great, but it's okay. So I don't really know who to go with on that. But all I know is I'm ready for a nice course. This is the Open. This is our creme de la creme of the PPP Tour. This is the big boy. This is the one. This is the one that you want to win. This is the bragging rights one. This is the big one. The last dance, whatever you want to call it. I'm excited for it, and I know everybody else is. And these are the most fair teams I think we've ever had, which I think it's helped that we've played a year of this now, so we can kind of gauge everybody. But I think this is a solid grouping. My partner is Austin McGugan, fellow lefty player. I don't know if he's a left-hander too. I'm right-handed, but I play golf left-handed and like swing a bat left-handed and all that stuff. But a fellow left-hander, and so we're kind of team lefty, southpaw, whatever you want to call us. We're coming for heads though, for sure. We've talked a little bit. We have never played together though. Never even played against each other or around or whatever. Never played 18, 9, nothing. Never. Closest I've ever hit with him is on the range, and I took one of his new PXG irons and I hit it and I duffed it. So yeah. But that's, it's fine. It's gonna be good. I'm confident about it. I've been swinging a lot. I've been trying to at least go to the range every week and then trying to play once a week. And I've kept up with it for, I think, about a month at this point now. So if I get some good weather here this week, I'm definitely going to go out and at least hit some. And then the day before, I think me and McGugan are going to play River Pines and, check it out. Neither of us, I think, have played it. He might have played it already, but I have never played it. So I want to scope it out, see what it's like. And a lot of the other guys on tour have also played it, so I can't let them get too much of an advantage on me living in Nashville. So, yeah, that's basically the tour stuff. And then kind of going into the whole field as a whole, like I said, every team I think is super balanced for the most part. I don't think anybody's too overpowered. I will say this, going back on what I just said. The only team that I think is a little overpowered, and this might be a hot take because I don't think a lot of other people would have this same opinion. I think a little bit because of chemistry and because of how good they could play is Hayden Gregory and Jack Banda. So hear me out on this. Jack is easily the best player on the tour, but he hasn't performed at the tour level, right? So he hasn't placed well or placed good enough to make any noise to where everybody's like, oh, wow, Jack's going to definitely beat all of us this time. Nobody's really worried about him. And nobody was really worried about me and him at the Players tournament. And we didn't perform. So I think one of us has to break out soon. So that's why I'm only worried about him and Hayden. Because Hayden, how we match these people up is, so you have usually a really good golfer or with a bad golfer or like a, kind of medium-range golfers paired together. Hayden is not that great at all. But he is sufficient, or efficient. I don't know what he is. He's middle of the road, right? If he can help Jack out in ways that benefit Jack's game, and then Jack finally shows up a little bit more than he has, I think they might have a really good shot. But I just don't know if they're both going to perform because they haven't, you know what I mean? So that's just a hot take on their end. Probably the only other team I'm really worried about would be Bryant. Is always, he's the ringer. He's the guy who won the tour card at Madness. He gets asked back now for the Players, almost wins the Players with John Briley, mind you, and he's teamed up with him again for this. So he really doesn't have to rely on JB to hit like a alternate shot format like at the Players. So, and I mean, Bryant kept them together at the Players, and half the 9 was alternate shot. Now everybody did not play well that day, so that's another caveat to that. But still, I mean, he still performed outstanding against the field with arguably one of the worst players. I'm sorry, John Briley. I'm sorry. I love you, but you know how it goes. But he's improving. I've seen John improve. So that's just, I don't know. And then again, the only other person kind of in that same boat is Ryan Berry, 2-time winner on tour, by the way, past winner of the PPP Open and the past tournament, the Players, with John Fanning, the most improved player on tour, mind you. And that's why I think they're a great matchup and have a real legitimate shot. Now, when John Briley was teamed up with Ryan, I think at the Thanksgiving Classic, Ryan couldn't do anything. I think it was a confidence thing, having confidence in your partner, But I think he has way more confidence in John Fanning being, the most improved. So it's a great matchup, It's a great pairing, I should say. But overall, great matchups. So yeah, that's kind of the PPP Tour field and the PPP Open field, and in general, and breaking down everybody. Obviously, there's a bunch of other teams, but it'll all come down to who can rely on another for when you really need a good shot out of nowhere. So yeah, that's the whole PPP Open field in general and the breakdown. I know I didn't name every single team, but if you want to look more into that, you go to the PPP Tour Instagram, and you can find out all the information we did there, or on the YouTube channel. You can see other guys' hot takes. Jack and Hayden did a video, so you can look at that stuff and kind of get more an in-depth look on everybody else. I did a video as well breaking down the groups, so you can look at that. Speaking of YouTube, got a new video coming out the day after this comes out. I think this will come out tomorrow, Monday the 3rd, and then my new YouTube video will come out the 4th on Tuesday, and that is going to be a What's in the Bag video. So it should be pretty cool. I'm going to kind of talk about what's in my bag, why I have it in the bag, and why my irons, I believe, are the best budget irons you can get right now for a pretty low price for a whole set of irons that really do a great job at sticking with a lot of the newer clubs and being so forgiving, but still giving you the distance and control you need of the golf ball. Also talking about YouTube, I think I'm going to do a video when I get back from the beach trip I have. Going to do a video about club stamping and paint filling on golf clubs. And I'm going to do my jet black wedges that I have and club stamp those, and then paint fill them, and then possibly paint fill like the numbers and on my irons. So, and that video should be coming super soon here in the next few weeks. When I get back from the beach, I'll get right on that one, and then we'll get into just busting out the content again, and then we'll, before you know, the Thanksgiving Classic for the tour will be back, and we'll get right back at that kind of content stuff as well. I think that's it, and thanks for listening, everybody. A new podcast, like I said, will be back up after I get back from the beach around mid-August, and then we'll just start doing it definitely weekly and staying on top of it, as well as YouTube videos. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Langston Golf on Instagram. Also, check out the YouTube channel. That's where I post a lot of cool videos, as well as if you want to follow along with the PPP Tour stuff that, like I said earlier, that's the PPP Tour on Instagram, and we do a lot of live videos for tournament days. Post a lot of stuff to the feed, a lot of funny stuff, and you can just follow along there. And I think that's it, everybody. Remember, please subscribe to this podcast feed on whatever you're listening to. Tell your friends about it. Tell your golf friends about it. Anybody and everybody. And then remember, guys, always bring your sticks. Grow the game, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.